Let's piss some people off.
Have you ever looked at your life and thought, why do I keep doing this when I know it doesn't make me happy? Not because you don't know better, not because you're afraid of change, but because somewhere along the way, those habits became familiar. They became comfortable. They became part of who you believed you had to be. I don't think we talk enough about the fact that sometimes we're not living from who we are today. We're living from a version of ourselves that was created years ago just to get through life. And the hardest part is that those survival versions of us can feel so familiar that we mistake them for our identity. So today, I want to talk about and have a conversation about what happens when you realize the person who helped you survive isn't the person who's meant to lead the rest of your life. Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to I Am Spice, the podcast. I am your host, Spice. And as always, I am so grateful to have you here. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If you're been here long enough, here we just have honest conversations about healing, growth, relationships, and what it really means to come home to yourself. There are no perfect people here, and definitely there's no pretending. Just real conversations that remind us we're all figuring this out together. Before we jump in, if these episodes have encouraged you in any way, I'd love for you to take a second to follow the podcast, leave a rating or a review, and share this episode with someone who might need to hear it today. Every share helps this community grow, and you never know who you might be helping or who might need this exact conversation now. Let's get into it. The older I get, the more I realize that healing isn't always about learning something new. Sometimes it's about recognizing something you've been carrying for years and finally asking yourself, do I still need this? We all develop ways of protecting ourselves. Some people become the peacemakers because conflict never felt safe. Some become perfectionists because mistakes were never welcomed. Some learn to stay quiet because speaking up always seemed to come with consequences. Others become the ones who carry everyone else's burdens because that's where they learned their value came from. None of those responses make us weak. In fact, they probably helped us through seasons that were incredibly difficult. They served a purpose. They protected us when we didn't have the tools, the confidence, or the support we have today. The problem is that survival has a funny way of overstaying its welcome. What once protected us can quietly become the very thing that keeps us from experiencing the life we worked so hard to build. We keep apologizing before we've done anything wrong. We keep assuming people are disappointed in us before they said a word. We keep shrinking our dreams because somewhere deep down we're still trying to avoid rejection, a rejection that may not even exist anymore. I think that's one of the most surprising parts of growth. You expect healing to feel like adding something to your life, but often feels like letting go. Letting go of the stories you've repeated about yourself, letting go of the expectations you placed on your own shoulders, letting go of the belief that you have to earn rest, earn love, earn belonging, or earn the right to take up space. I know there have been moments in my own life when I caught myself reacting to a situation and I realized I wasn't responding as the woman I am today. I was responding as a younger version of myself who was still trying to stay safe. That realization was both humbling and freeing because it reminded me that just because a reaction feels familiar doesn't mean it still fits the life I'm living. I think we all have those moments. Maybe it's the conversation you avoid because you're afraid of disappointing someone. Maybe it's the opportunity you talk yourself out of because you're convinced you're not ready yet. Maybe it's the way you dismiss your own accomplishments because you're still measuring yourself through a no lens that no longer tells the truth. The beautiful thing about becoming more self aware is that you don't have to judge those parts of yourself. You don't have to be angry at the version of you that was simply trying to make it true. That version deserves compassion, it deserves gratitude. It got you here where you are right now, but it also deserves rest. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack for years because you needed to and needed everything inside to survive along the journey. At first, every item mattered, every tool had a purpose, but eventually you reach your destination, and without realizing, you keep carrying the backpack anyway. Day after day, year after year, not because you still needed it, but because you've forgotten what it feels like to set it down. Sometimes healing looks exactly like that. Not finding a bigger backpack, not becoming stronger so you can carry more. Just giving yourself permission to finally take it off. Take your backpack off. I've been learning that becoming yourself isn't about creating a brand new identity. It's about uncovering the person who has been underneath all the survival strategies, all the expectations, and all the pressure to be everything for everyone else. That person has probably been there all along. She's the one who laughs without wondering who's watching. She's the one who creates because it brings her joy. She's the one who says yes because she's excited and no because she means it. She's the one who doesn't need to perform worthiness because she no longer believes love has to be earned. And I think that's what coming home to yourself really means. It isn't waking up one morning as a completely different person. It is slowly recognizing that the life you're building deserves the version of you who is fully present, not the version who is still bracing for battles that ended years ago. So, if you've been feeling tired lately, maybe it's worth asking yourself a different question. Not what's wrong with me, but what am I still carrying that I no longer need? Because sometimes the next chapter of your life doesn't begin when you become someone new. Sometimes it begins the moment you stop asking your survival self to keep leading the way. Now, thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope, if nothing else, this conversation reminded you to be gentle with yourself. Growth isn't about erasing who you've been, it's about honoring that version of yourself while allowing the person you become to take the lead. Until the next time, remember to always stay unfiltered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. I love you guys bunches.
And remember, we're unfiltered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. That's that.